Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q3FY22 earnings conference call of Engineers India Limited, hosted by Batlivala & Karani Securities India Private Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal for an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Kunal Seth from Batlivala & Karani Securities India Private Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Zaid. I would like to welcome the management of Engineers India Limited on the call and would like to thank them for giving us this opportunity. From the management today, we have Ms. Vartika Shukla, Chairman and Managing Director and Additional Charge Director Finance, Mr. Suvendu Phadi, Company Secretary, Mr. R.P. Batra, Group General Manager, F&A and IR, and Mr. Vinay Kalia, Chief General Manager, NBD and IR. Ma'am, I request you to give us some opening remarks, post which we will open the floor for an Q&A. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. With regards to the quarterly performance of the third quarter of this financial year, insofar as our turnover goes in comparison on the PFY, we are about 4% up in terms of our total turnover. With regards to on quarter for the same financial year, we are up 14% in terms of our profitability, which actually showcases the high-end work that we have done in this earning of this quarter. Same way, if we see our EPS, it is higher quarter, and in comparison to the last quarter, it is higher by about 15%. Based on the strength of the performance of this quarter in this FY, we have also declared a interim dividend of 2 rupees per share, which is equal to the total dividend of the last financial year. So we expect a robust profitability in comparison to the previous year. And going forward, we also see more businesses in our core as well as diversified segments. Would you like me to add more numbers to it? Excuse me?
Shall we open the forum for questions now?
Yes, we can.
We can.
All right. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handset while asking questions. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment until the question queue assembles. To ask a question, please press star and 1 at this time. The first question is from the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor Industries. Please go ahead.
Namaskar, ma'am, and thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for looking our request of conducting now regular Concalls. Thank you for this continuity, firstly.
You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, firstly, if you could throw some more light on the business prospects, the current business environment in terms of order intake, both for our consultancy as well as the turnkey projects, and the key headwinds we are facing in terms of execution for the turnkey projects, any overrun in cost in any of particular projects. And I think so the company is now pursuing a business in new technologies also. It is the hydrogen business, I think so, wherein we have made a breakthrough. So if you could throw some more light on the same, and then I have some more follow-ups.
Sure. So far as the business order inflow goes, the total order inflow up to the quarter ending third quarter is 1,507 crores in comparison to the entire order of 1,569 for the last financial year. Largely this order is in our consultancy segment, which is a high-end.
যে ব্যক্তির সঙ্গে আপনি কথা বলছেন তিনি আপনার
So the large order is almost majority of this order inflow is in the high-end consultancy itself. So far as our order book status goes, up to December 21, we are about 8,200 crores in comparison to last financial year end, which was 7,982 crores. We foresee, we are already working on with GAIL on hydrogen, and we are looking forward to more opportunity. We have quoted for some proposals, and we get some more proposals on jobs on looking at various technical commercial aspects of the hydrogen economy. We have also got a small feasibility for NTPC, which is another biosector, the renewable sector, which will be then transforming into PMC and project management services and engineering implementation. So this stage, as we see in the market, is a stage of transition where there is a lot of feasibility and lot of work going on in terms of assessing the investments in the diversified sector of renewables. EIL is very well entrenched in most of them in the space of not only renewables but also in the core hydrocarbon sector where we work, and these are going to turn around into projects where EIL will have a very major role to play, and with that we expect a reasonably good order book position next year. Would this suffice or?
Ma'am, hello. Yes, ma'am. May I continue, ma'am? Hello.
Please.
Yeah, ma'am. I was coming to with now the execution cycle. Generally, the fourth quarter turns out to be a big quarter in terms of all engineering concerns. So, how is the execution cycle currently, ma'am? We are already 45 days into the quarter, and this February being a lean month.
Yes.
In terms of number of days. So, how is the execution cycle picking up, and where are we going to end the year in terms of the revenue profile trajectory? If you could give some more color.
Sure. So I'm sorry I missed that point. I should have remembered to reply to that. You're right. In the last quarter, it is not just for the engineering services also, but for every client, there are a lot of mechanical completions happening by year end to capitalize the assets. So work is on in full swing in all our projects, whether we look at Bathinda refinery, whether we look at Vizag refinery, or in some ways Rajasthan refinery. So there is a lot of activity in terms of completion of a huge number of milestones in a couple of these mega projects, and we will be realizing definitely, as you have seen year on year, always quarter four turns out to be a better quarter with respect to implementation. We are a little, we hope it will be picked up. It has picked up already. We have one of the highest number of manpowers deployed in Vizag now in comparison to last few months. January was not that good because of COVID, but it is steadily improved, and concerted efforts on the project management to finish off the pendencies to get milestones in these projects is achievable, and it would be probably preemptive to give you a number of sorts on Q4, but as it goes, it will definitely be better than Q3. That assurance we can definitely give you, and we are trying our best to do better than last year.
Mr. Kapoor, does that answer your question?
Hello. Ma'am, on the margin profile. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. On the margin profile, with the inflationary trends in the commodity prices, what kind of pressure are we seeing on the margin since the raw material prices of all the commodities are moving in the northward trajectory? And also, ma'am, on the point of our investment in this the urea business and in the fertilizer segment, I think so. We have been posting losses in the joint venture. So this is the limitation in the investment only that is happening, and these are not cash losses, but our investments are being marked to market. So this is the fair understanding of the same. This 31 crore loss that we have booked of share of profit from the joint venture.
Right. So let me answer your first question on the margins. In respect, so far as our services goes, in comparison to 9 months of last year to this year, our margins are 2% up in terms of our performance. Yes, there are some lump sum turnkey projects which we work for PMC, and the commodity prices are largely getting impact in those LSTK segment, where we are not LSTK contractors, but we are PMC. Now, therein also there are two types of contracting which happens. One which actually compensates for the commodity increase, indexing and on kind of the trend in the copper, aluminium and steel. But there are some fixed term contracts wherein there is no benefit which is or no compensation for the unprecedented rise which has happened in the commodity prices. Fortunately, EIL is not entirely affected. In some of the LSTK segments that we do, there are concerns there, but they are under control. And therein, if you can see also, the turnkey segment turnover is comparative to the 9 months of last financial year, and also, comparative, in fact, higher on quarter basis. On the second part, in terms of the investments we have made in the fertilizer sector, as I had also mentioned in the last earnings call, this is a unit under stabilization. And if you see on the 3 quarters performance of Concall results, this quarter is better than the last Q1 and Q2 of this financial year. The plant is running at around 65 to 70% capacity. There is a limitation on the offloading of urea over there in Ramakundam, which the Railway Ministry and the Telangana government is working upon. And it is expected that probably in March itself we will go up to 90%. Once we have a break point, it will be governed by the urea policy, and the return is an assured 12%. So we have this joint venture with NFL, and like any operating plant, it has stabilization issues which are now almost over, and we expect a good year in the next financial year. It is going to give us a good return. There would be, of course, the returns are going to be governed by the subsidy, but the subsidy comes even if it is a quarter late, or it is always there. So this is a time of transition, but once we have a steady inflow from RFCL, once it's full operating, I think it will be a stable investment that we have made.
Now, what is the total investment made in this project, and as of now, how much limitation has been taken with the commissioning of the project and this fertilizer, Ramakundam fertilizer?
491 crore is the total investment in Ramakundam. And the other thing what you mentioned, please, can you repeat?
The limitation which we have taken, or the losses booked, the book entry which we have provided for.
It's 160 crore approximately.
160
crore loss है, RFCL का अपना loss है ना, जो हमारा share है, उसकी बात कर रहे हैं.
Bhattaji, what is the number?
Our share is around 160 crore for the 9 months.
Yeah, okay.
160.
Yeah, 160 crore.
160. So, ma'am, just to get the last understanding, when the plant start operating at a 90 to 95% levels, what would be its contribution going forward? And, ma'am, the understanding from investor community is that our the money of Engineers India being invested in these unrelated sectors have not been accepted very well in the investing community. You can see the type of capitalization this unique business company is commanding. Even after a buyback, ma'am, as you were mentioning about dividend, I think so last year we also did a buyback. So that amount was also debited from our reserves and paid back to the shareholders. So
right.
It should be conclusive of आपने जो dividend दिया उसके संग buyback का amount भी उस year में add होता है. But in spite of all the effort being done, the investing community are finding it jittery, and that could be very well seen from the capitalization, ma'am. The way the prices have declined and are maintaining at the low levels. In fact, there is so much enthusiasm in the market, and also with respect to budget, also being so much focus on the infrastructure sector, hydrocarbons, whichever जहाँ पे हम काम कर रहे हैं वहाँ पर पॉजिटिव न्यूज इनफ्लो है. बट हम नीच सेगमेंट में होने के बाद भी इन्वेस्टर्स में कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं बना पा रहे हैं, बिकॉज वन ऑफ द पॉइंट इज दिस अनरिलेटेड सेगमेंट में जो रुपया डाइवर्ट हुआ है, इफ आई मे यूज द करेक्ट मी देयर, लेकिन उससे जो रिटर्न्स बनेंगे वो कमेंसरेट नहीं होंगे विद रेस्पेक्ट टू जो हमारी कोर कॉम्पिटेंसी है. मैम अभी हम शायद रिफाइनरी सेगमेंट में भी इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं एनआरएल में, तो उसका भी एक एप्रीहेंशन माइंड में है कि उससे रिलेटेड जो उसकी वेजरीज होगी, द सेक्टरल वेजरीज ऑफ फर्टिलाइजर्स एंड रिफाइनरीज would eventually be on the Engineers India P&L account. This is my understanding, ma'am. So isko how to get the investors confidence back, ma'am? What steps are you taking to build investor confidence, ma'am? You are at the helm now, I think so, not even 1 year as far.
Yeah.
So यही point था मेरा, ma'am.
So I in fact this is also a cause of attention from our side, that despite doing very well in the financials, and we are steadily increasing profitability in terms of performance, we are steadily getting more margins and increasing our internal efficiencies. We are working in diversified areas, diversified geographies. We are doing all out to actually garner business and grow, yet the reflection of that is not being felt very positive in the market. Now, on this, yes, we are a consultancy company. The large choices, as you have already stated, are only few that a company like ours has. Whether we do buyback in a repeated manner, which brings back the liquidity and then benefits the shareholders, or we put this into secured, may not be directly related, may not be our core business of operating and maintaining a plant, but it is, I wouldn't say it is unrelated. So investments in RFCL, we have got 200 crore EPCM service because of that investments in RFCL. Today also in NFL, in NRL, we have a much more, a stronger relationship with NRL, which for their expansion project had tendered out, and it had not come to EIL, and we were not, it went out of our hands. The dialogue on the strength of us being part of NRL in some way is actually bridging a lot of requirement of NRL and coming to EIL. Today for NRL, we have sold 3 of our technologies with engineering, which is a unique, achievement for a company like us. Domestic technology, which actually goes towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. So these are the pluses. Today for RFCL, we are trying to work out how nano urea can be put in RFCL with NFL. So these are the pluses. If we have a stake there and we are part of it, it is a business which is a compounding business. I am not, this is not something which is immediately going to reflect, but it will be on a long term. It will help the growth of the company to diversify its investments in this manner. So there is no, NRL for example has already a commitment from the government of India in terms of benefits. Northeast is a sector which will be developing. So investments there are very secure. Once there, and we have already got 16 crore dividend in the interim dividend which NRL has already declared and which is there reflected in our books also. So I would convey to the investor community that in a short term, it may be the visibility of our investments and the visibility of the way EIL is going could be viewed. I would not could be viewed in this manner, but in a long term there is a strategy in it. There is a strategy, and both which is financially sound as well as for growth, it is also quite positive and full of opportunities.
Right, ma'am. Thank you for the elaborate answer. To point on the other income part, ma'am, we have this. Yeah, I'll come in the queue. I'll come in the queue. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question is from the line of Viral Shah from Yes Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. So basically, sir, ma'am, could you highlight us give us more clarity on the tendering pipeline which is there in terms of petrochemicals, various projects, large ticket size projects like Kaveri Basin, Meena Refinery, what is the status on the same?
Okay. Kaveri Basin Refinery we had been awarded in quarter 2, and that was a job order of 1039 crores, and it is going on well. There is future, yeah. There is already movement at site also. There are some land issues which will be sorted out by the owners, and so far as right now we have more of engineering activity which is on full swing. We have a complete team deployed here as well as in the site. Looking forward, we have expansions of Panipat, of HMEL, of MRPL, work for Kochi, BPCL in Kochi. We are already working for Bina. You would have seen all the announcements which the BPCL chairman has made recently on the polypropylene at Kochi and petrochemical at Bina. EIL is there, and like I mentioned, exactly what I mentioned a while back, we are there as part of the feasibility with a low value, high-end work which leads to project, pre-project activities and projects. So we are there. Also for pipeline activity in terms of both the gas and LPG, there are a lot of work which is being done in feasibility. There are some import facilities also which are being worked on. You have also seen the statement of CEO and MD of PLL, and there are two projects which he has mentioned. One is the Gopalpur FSRU and as well as the PP and PDH in Dahej. EIL is there, and we are at the center stage doing the feasibility for them, and we look forward. And if you've seen the numbers of investment which you have shared, you see the volume of projects which are there for them. Besides, we are also working very closely with the other sectors, especially when we are looking at addition of petrochemicals, specialty chemicals. We are also talking to the private sector for some of the work. We are also looking at co-development of a lot of technologies with the private sector and the public sector, which will go into commercialization, which is our core. You talked of technical competence, and that is also very much focused upon. So I at the helm of affairs with my team see a huge opportunity. Not just what I've told. There are plenty of other leads. Not only here, we've just won a small job, but a sizable volume later in Nigeria, which is again a PMC work that we have, the feasibility work. So there are certain other projects of GAIL also we are working upon. So there are plenty of work which is going on, which will convert to projects very soon.
So when you look at and quantify in terms of numbers,
Yes.
One is the core petrochemical segment.
Yes.
What will be a big pipeline look like? Maybe 30,000 crores kind of opportunity over a 3-year period, or a number if you quantify. And secondly, and the non-core segments, when you expect actual commercialization to take place, and what can that part of order book be for a 2-year, 3-year perspective, not on a short run, but yes, on the long run, what is the expectation or strategy going forward? And lastly, ma'am, a lot of projects have been delayed. So obviously this year also the order inflow was subdued. We had been able to back 1,500 or kind of crores of order inflow. But from a longer run perspective, what is the run rate where we would be comfortable at? Maybe 2,000, 2,500, so that we can get our, the revenue and execution pipeline going. These are my 3 questions. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So I would not be able to tell you the absolute number of volume of projects in terms of crores. I have given you sufficient number, in fact, information of the project. So if you see the announcements made, you can see as a percentage what kind of pace we would get.
No problem. That's fair enough, ma'am.
Yeah, but in case you are talking of the what is a healthy order book for both sustenance, and what is a healthy order book for a good CAGR, it is again we would like ideally to have a 65-35% mix of consultancy and EPC, primarily because consultancy gives us very good margins and EPC gives us a good top line. So that's the kind of mix that would be ideal for us. As I mentioned before, the large part of our the order book is mainly in the consultancy now. So we are trying to get as much as we can also in EPC. Largely, yes, something like 2,000 plus is a good number. It's a good number. We would aspire for more, but that's the number for a reasonable growth year on year. Yeah.
Fair enough, ma'am. And lastly, ma'am, we have not bagged any project on our EPC for quite some time now. So where we are in terms of bidding, or are we close to getting 1 or 2 projects, or what is the strategy out there? And secondly, on the same question, in terms of margins, are these fixed price contracts, or there's a possibility of price revision in there as well? Why I'm coming to this is because any which ways we are making 2% on a bid. So whether we can have that, any of the contracts is fixed price and we are going to take some hit on that. So clarity on that will help. Thank you.
Neera, this is Vinay. As mix is concerned, ma'am has shared it, about 65-35 is the ideal mix we would like to have for top line and bottom line growth on a long term basis. As far as EPCs are concerned, see, wherever we take up EPC projects, you would know that because of conflict of interest, we will be forfeited from taking up feed and PMC assignments. So with this kind of a margin mix, our first priority is always to go in for a consultancy assignment where we do feed and PMCs, or we are EPCM consultants. Majority of projects, there are EPCM mode of contracting where there are no EPC contracts. Like in CPCL, some units are in EPCM, only few units are on PMC. Same in Panipat, it is a mix. Same in NRL. Wherever there is a opportunity between a PMC and a EPC, we will first try for PMC. Fortunately for us, in EPC modes of contracting also, we have been able to go in for cost plus kind of contracts, which gives you more security in terms of variations in plant and machinery, and also stability in terms of bottom line margins. So we are cutting down on our variability, stabilizing our margins, and looking for a reasonable growth.
Fair enough, sir. Lastly, sir, in terms of turnkey, you rightly mentioned that. So I'm just evaluating, is there some opportunity where we can beg some large orders in turnkey? Because this is one segment where we have not begged anything for quite some time, not a large ticket size kind of order. So just wanted to understand that.
Yeah, as I shared with you, we have not done EPCs because we are PMC consultants there.
Agreed.
Example, at Rajasthan Refinery, we cannot take any of the EPC contracts. There are about 18-20 EPC bids which are going on, but we cannot bid because we are PMC consultants. Same will be the case in CPC and in Panipat because we are the consultants there. So our opportunity size comes down because we are acting as a consultant in lot of these projects, and you know our market share in India. So that's a call we have to take if we go for this kind of a margin mix.
Okay, fair enough. Lastly, if I may add one last question that has come in. When we look at, when you look at the historical margins, I guess FY14-15 was where 13-14 was where you used to command 24-26 kind of % of margin. Obviously, the revenue share from consultancy was very high. If we try to change our mix from currently 55% of consultancy to 65% or 70%, can we expect our margin to bounce back significantly from 11-12% to maybe 18-19%?
It is possible. It is possible, and we are working on that end. We are trying. We have reopened some of the divisions, which were our US.
Okay, ma'am. Sorry, I lost you. Hello. Hello.
Participants, it seems you've lost the line for the management speaker. Please stay connected while we reconnect them. Apologies for the long wait. We have the management line now reconnected. Neelam, please continue.
Yeah, Neerav, I was answering your question. Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am.
So what we are trying to say, we have reopened constituted some of our USPs, some departments which are very high-end work they do, where our margins are very high. As you mentioned, in I think 14-15, our margins were high. 14-15 we were.
Yeah, 14, ma'am. FY14 and 13 are there.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah. So now what only happens is that we don't kind of see that kind of growth in the top line. So on the margins we would grow. So that's why we are saying a healthy order book of 65-35 kind of gives us both. Margin may not be 24%, there could be 17, 18 or 15% or 13%, but our top line also shows growth. That's how the segments are now divided, kind of reflect. So we will definitely, in fact, we have already broken that barrier. Those groups have actually, and the objective is that they become SBUs. So once they do that, then it is more of a high-end work which recognizes both India and overseas. So it's going to take some initial time to kind of get that momentum to break out and perform. So, but we are confident EIL is moving in that direction. The management is also steering. I am steering in these kind of high-end work which is unique to us. No one else in the country does that, or very few people in the world also do that.
Yeah, ma'am, I agree to that, and I think that was where we also used to command premium as well from the market cap perspective as well, right? Because people were really gung-ho about the business and the kind of work we used to do, right? And I guess if we could bring that, I think the market cap should come back. That is what the expectation is. Thank you, ma'am, and all the best for future, sir.
Thank you.
Continue doing the good job, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Sagar Gandhi from Future Generali India Life Insurance Company. Please go ahead.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, ma'am, my question is, we have been making losses from past 3 quarters in the associate company, which is Ramagundam Fertilizer Limited. What is our internal assessment by when will we, break even? And what is the utilization at level at which this Ramagundam Fertilizer Company is working? And at what utilization level will it break even? And it will start contributing positively to our bottom line.
So let me answer the mid part. It's running today at about 65% capacity, and we expect the break even to happen even in March, in the month of March itself. Last month, 70% is the break even. 70% is the break even, where it starts, making money, and as I also replied earlier, it is definitely going to be positive next year, and we expect the break point to happen in March itself.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, it is currently at 55% utilization level.
65%.
65%, and in another 5% more,
yes.
It will start breaking even.
Yes.
And at roughly say 80-85% utilization level, how much horsepower does that company has to make money? I mean, what is the EBITDA that company will generate?
This is under the urea policy of 2015, which is extended to Ramagundam also. So on a post-tax return is assured return of 12% on the investment, on equity. So that's the kind of return we will get on our 491 crores once it produces. And there is almost 60% of the demand of urea is in Telangana itself. So the market is very much there. The distribution is done by NFL. So there are logistic issues on rail. There are some issues on the rakes. Some dialogues are going on that. There are some issues on the truck. On the local issues are also there, which are being resolved. And once that happens and the offtake goes up, it will get sorted. And if you have a 60% demand in the state, then movement outside becomes lesser than required. So there are high-level meetings happening almost once a week to ease out this kind of synergy between the various agencies, various state and center and everything. So it will smoothen out very soon, because we realize today we are producing something like 300 rupees a ton, $300 per ton urea, and the import is not less than 900, if I recall correctly, the number goes right.
Price 900.
Yes, 99. So there is a huge push, and everybody is working. Every stakeholder on RFCL is on the job. EIL, RFCL, our ministries, Railway Ministry, Telangana government. So everybody is on the job to support them to, for the dispatches. So that should happen very soon. Please appreciate that there is a stabilization required in particular on operating units, especially where they handle solids, like bagging and dispatching. It's a more complex than the process industry, like refineries, which we deal with, which are stabilized so soon within a few weeks, sometimes.
Hello. Are we disconnected with the management? Hello.
It seems you have lost the line with management again. Please stay connected while we reconnect them. Participants, again, apologies for the delay in reconnecting. We have the management line now reconnected.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So, ma'am, thank you for your answer. Ma'am, continuing with exceptional losses question. So in last Q4 of FY21, we had booked an exceptional loss of 155 crores, and that was because of probable principal defaults on the investments book. So, ma'am, any update there? Are any more exceptional losses coming in subsequent quarters?
Let me be honest with you. That was done in complete transparency to the books, make good of the losses of the principal in the PF trust. There are some very small investments which, if at all go bad, will be accounted for. But let me assure and confirm that the substantial value of 159, 154 will nowhere be ever on the books of EIL henceforth. So it was a conscious decision to make sure this was reported and closed.
Yeah, but ma'am, that time it was reported that this is 80% of the probable defaults. And
yes, so you're aware of the market. You would probably, financial markets, you are better equipped to understand.
Yeah,
you are knowing that we have, to go by the waterfall mechanism, we have to go by the COC and NCLAS decisions and the resolution professionals, decisions as per the rule and the hierarchy where we sit in terms of the investments we have made. 80% was the actuarial value which was determined. Since we have already accounted for 80%, there is already some which we have already got back, and if any, as I mentioned, and let me be very honest and straight, in case there are any closures of any investments and they need to be accounted for, which will be definitely much lower than what was done in terms of provisioning, it will be done. EIL's books will be clean on this account and very transparent, as have always been.
Thank you so much for the transparency that you've shown, and all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. The next question is a follow-up from the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor Industries. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, if I have not heard the cash on books figure, ma'am. If you could help me out with the same.
But Bhattacharya,
it's around 1200 to 1300 crore, between 1200 to 1300.
Okay. And when we come to the slide number 23, ma'am, if you could,
Investment.
okay.
capital investment.
Okay.
If you could explain what is the message we are trying to give from investment 1, 2, and 3 money. I think so. You have spoken about the Ramagundam fertilizer in total investment of equity of 491 crore, and now coming to this NEL 2 upstream assets and the minority stake in Nubrigar. Our Nubrigar investment is 700 crore as mentioned, and this 16 crore dividend we have received for this quarter itself, and it is there in the other income of 39 crores?
Yes, it is in the other income. Bhattacharya, correct?
Other income. Yes.
Okay. So please explain about our investment for this NEL 2 upstream assets. What is the update on the same?
Yeah. So you're quite aware that in the nation needs to enhance our production of both oil and gas, and going by that we have partnered with BPRL, and we are in consortium partners with GAIL for the 2 blocks in the upstream. There is there is a probable In one, there is a probable chance of getting that asset realize the returns. In the other, it is likely that we may not get the price at which recovery would be much higher than the trading price of crude. So that there are decisions being made with the consortium. Our lead partners who are actually working on the economics and working on ground will in due course, share more information with us. But these are in the good of the nation that we need to work upon the enhancing exploration in the upstream.
Yes, ma'am, that is very true. But in a listed space, when you have other shareholders, then wherein the commitment is more than towards the nation. It is our duty. We are taxpayers, so we are committed to the nation in that way. But if a listed company also have these kinds of commitment towards nation from listed entities, it is not giving the right message to the investing community that if there is no ये कोई नहीं बता पाएगा कि आप जो कैश जनरेट करेंगे उसका सही यूटिलाइजेशन कैसे होगा. Who will decide? It is the promoter, that is the government of India. So there must be segregation between what the minority shareholders are expecting and what the government has asked the management to do.
नहीं, आपकी बात एकदम सही है कि हमें अपने शेयर, हमारे जो माइनॉरिटी इन्वेस्टर्स हैं या नॉन गवर्नमेंट इन्वेस्टर्स हैं या गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के हट के इन्वेस्टर्स हैं, हमको उनका ख्याल भी उतना ही करना पड़ेगा. आप इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है. एंड आई डू नॉट डिस्प्यूट दैट. एज अ रिस्पॉन्सिबल प्रोफिटेबल कॉर्पोरेट, we need to see business in our own money that we have, right? And I'm completely with you on it. Now, while I am with you on it, there are some things which, as a sectoral company, there are some obligations, and as and when they come, we have to evaluate. Now, these are not processes. See, these are not investments made just by somebody directions. These are assessments, and assessments are done with proper technical and commercial due diligence, right? So these have also been done with proper due diligence. A proper process has been followed, and the outcome is subject to the prices of crude. So it would and at that time the assessment what was done had made sense, commercial sense. While we are a government organization, but let me tell you, no board, neither ours or in other PSUs, takes any decision which is commercially not attractive. It is very rarely that we have some decision-making process which doesn't make any sense. There could be, I would not say no to it in terms of the decisions, but largely they are all discussed, especially of commercial investments. And the logic of the investments of both with BPRL or GAIL was completely due diligence was done in terms of the pricing, and then only these were taken up in consortium.
Sorry, ma'am. When we look at this numerical refinery investment also, ma'am, our investment is to the tune of 700 crore.
Right.
And the dividend which we have received for this, if I'm not aware of the financials for NRL, so excuse me on that front. So it is a 2 to 3% payout if we take only this dividend. Other than the dividend, I don't think so there would be any other mode by which we would be receiving our cash back until and unless they go for an IPO and we get an opportunity to dilute our stake at that point. So that was the reason, yes, ma'am.
Right. So I would hold the investors to closure of this financial year. I think it is premature to judge the percentage return on the investment just with the first interim declaring the first interim dividend by Numaligarh Refinery. I think I would hold the award of a judgment in this matter till the financial year closes and the final dividend is declared by Numaligarh.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. So I got the message. But when we look at your 9 months versus 9 months, ma'am, December 20 and December 21, mota ma'am, PBT have remained flat. So how should we look at these numbers, ma'am? If I look at the top line, look at the bottom line, it is 302 crores, and last year it was for the 9 months 309 crores. So is it the only COVID factor that has flattened our number, and there is no growth in the bottom line?
See, there were a lot of projects which have not, if you see the activity now, there is a lot of announcement, and I just shared with you some of the announcements made by some of the owners. So there are many more announcements which will come. See, we get businesses when there is investment and growth. So no doubt, as someone mentioned on the investments which are also business opportunities as part of the budget, and definitely there is a huge investment which is planned in the oil and gas itself, which is over 1,11,000 crores. Also in infrastructure, which is huge, So we, this cycle has to also start. No, the investment cycle, once it goes at a swing, commensurate to that only we will get our job. So it has not been very, robust in terms of growth. You already in GDP also you see the reflection in some ways also comes there. In last 2 years from March 19 to 22, no not 19, 20 to 21, now 22. We are only picking up, you see the vehicle sales in last month in January. Have you seen that?
Yes.
So it's reflective. The growth is reflective in many elements. One of it is in the sectors when we see growth in passenger vehicles or, So the commercial vehicle sales is pretty good. So there's going to be activity, means there is going to be some, I have seen now year on year, the vehicle sale has increased by 14%, total commercial vehicle sales. So, which means to say that there is commercial activity picking up. If it picks up, then the sentiment of the market is there, sentiment to invest, there is demand, there is investments, not only in our core sector, but other sectors like infrastructure and all. There is a huge push in the budget in the infrastructure also, So, we are definitely going to go all pitch is there, all efforts are there to garner more jobs. My single mantra to us is, and to EIL and all of us, is that we must get as much business as we can, whether it is a high-end business, a consultancy business, or a form of an LSTK OB business. The more business we get, the more we will grow. The more our presence will be, the more we can satisfy the investor community. So our concerted effort is to garner more jobs in any and every sector, build on more clients, build on new clients, build on new geographies. These are some of the pillars that we are working on.
Ma'am, on the L1 part, can you throw some light, ma'am?
L1?
L1 means अभी हम लोग L1 कितने orders में है अभी जो bidding process अभी चल रहा होगा?
ये तो आपको हम नहीं भी share you any bidding information. We will not be able to share with you.
No. I was just looking at the size of the order where we have bid and our strike rate, just to have an understanding. कितने orders? हाँ जी.
It's a little sensitive, I think, to share on these elements. It's difficult for us to share, right?
Yeah. Kapoorji, it will be sensitive because it's a competitive environment and we are bidding. So moment we are getting the job, we are anyway declaring
in SEBI.
Ma'am, the Jal Se Nal project of the government, is Engineers India anyway participating, doing any work in this, or any pie we are garnering out of this entire project?
Which project?
The Jal Se Nal project, which is now the flagship project of the current government.
Jal Shakti.
Yeah, the Jal Se Nal Jal Shakti project, yes.
Shakti or
we are.
No. Is it Gati Shakti?
Gati Shakti, yes, ma'am. This time it was mentioned Gati Shakti, wherein the entire gamut comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will not disclose anything on Gati Shakti right now.
So
you'll have to wait.
Sensitive.
Yeah.
Let it be with us. Moment have something material to
Yeah, we will share.
And a small closing point from my side, ma'am. Firstly, ma'am, we should try in best of our opportunity to come up with our board meetings and all also a bit early than at the fag end. And our presence in the investor community should also be enhanced, ma'am. Today I saw the interview at CNBC Awaaz, and there should be ways and means by which the presence of the company should be felt in the investing community, so that attraction can and on a regular basis being developed. Other than the Concall, there should other mediums also, the other Concalls, infrastructure calls, and many Concalls happen over the period of time. So wherever our company is relevant, there should be a presence from the team, so that builds base and confidence among the investor community, ma'am. So these are the points I thought this medium जिसमें आपको convey कर सकूँ, ma'am. There is interest. Yes, ma'am. बताइए.
There is a concerted effort from our end to do that, and I would very much like to know the formula of enhancing our share price so that our market cap increases. And nothing more would excite me to actually make that happen as a company. So we are as leadership committed to it, and we definitely need your support. We need your support. We also need a feedback, and you have given very positive feedback on the perception. I mean, all of you really shared that. So I would also thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am. You should work, and there are agencies who work for value creation ideas, and as the board hires and look forward for the deliberations, and our contributions are always there. But these were the points for which I thought just sharing with you. And for the ethanol story also, ma'am, any participation from we are for a setup of an ethanol plant, any engineering work or job we are doing, there is a lot of traction in the ethanol segment also all across the country.
So now I think we really need to communicate better. We are setting up the world's largest only biorefinery, which is happening today, which is ABRPL in Assam. EIL is the front runner in implementation of biorefineries, ethanol biorefineries. So I think wherever you can showcase this, quote this, we have taken a technology from a bench scale to commercial scale, and we have a agreement, we have a strategic alliance with them in terms of R&D and innovation. So I think EIL is on the front runner on ethanol. There is no question of us how we are there. In fact, we were the first ones to do these PFRs in 2016. So EIL has been contributed to the national biofuel policy. EIL has been helping the ministry in formulation of the Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Yojana. EIL has evaluated technology, and EIL today is working for implementing engineering, PMC, project management. It's a good, sizable project we are doing for ABRPL in Numaligarh, and also we have this R&D association. We are also doing a DATL feasibility for NTPC. So we are very much there. I think no other company to this extent is involved and engaged and committed to the biofuel and the ethanol projects in particular than EIL.
And what is the size of the contract, ma'am? This ABR one?
See, the size of the contract would be something like probably around 100 crores. 100 crores.
It has touched 100 crores.
Okay, that means.
Now you have brought me here. Let me bring another perspective to it. As a consultancy organization, we see only our turnover in terms of our the fees that we get. If you see in terms of the value of projects that we are implementing today, it is more than almost 2.5 lakh crore to 3 lakh crore project. Just think of it in the other way. You see how many lakh crore projects that EIL is implementing as a consultancy organization. And if we add that up, it will add to something like 2.5 to 3 lakh crores. That is that's the value of projects that we implement. We place something like 2,500 orders per year on various MRs and tenders. We turn around almost 6 to 7 orders per day That's the volume of work EIL handles. So, and it's very complex. However, our turnover is a percentage of the fee, of the cost of the or the services that we do, and that's why fee and the vastness of the company does not reflect as it should, in the top line figures.
Okay. So by 100 crore, you mean our our share of business, or this is the revenue we are going to get post completion?
This is the fees that we get. Yeah.
100 crore is the fees.
Yes. Yes.
And what is the size of business? Hello.
About 2,000. So that project is 30 to 50 crore, 3,250 crore.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Okay. And 100 crore is our income from the same, providing our consultancy.
Yes.
Correct. And also, are we working on any carbon capture project also, ma'am? This is also a talking point.
I cannot disclose that. It is confidential.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It is confidential. I can only say we are, but it's confidential. Carbon capture is a very, very confidential area. I would not be able to share anything on that today.
Okay, ma'am. Because NTPC have started the work on the power plant, the old power plant for NTPC. So I thought if I could get some clarification on that same.
In due course of time, we will announce.
Correct, ma'am. Ma'am, many thanks to you for addressing, listening patiently, answering my questions. My first interaction was you during the AGM, and post that is the second opportunity. And really thankful to the board, and I hope that our suggestions would be taken on board if they derive merit, and hope for further interactions and a long journey with this organization, with its esteemed value still unlocked. So hope for a good times ahead, ma'am. Thank you and all the best, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As there are no further questions, I now hand the conference over to the management team for closing remarks. Over to you.
So, as I have already in detail explained, EIL is on the growth path, both in terms of garnering businesses in the core sector. There is a strategic roadmap towards growth in the diversified sectors, as well as strategic footprints enhancing in the international territory as well. We have also reconstituted some of our USPs, some high-end technology work that we do to garner the existing clients and build new clients. And there is expected to be a good, positive and encouraging, interest from our customers, which is already felt. In terms of adjacency, we are also looking at other businesses, and we already have a foot in the door, and in green hydrogen. We are working extensively on biofuels in the renewable sector. So in the and we are also likely to play a very significant role in the transition of energy, which our core refinery sector is to meet the COP26 commitments. So in going forward, we expect more orders in hand and a higher both consultancy and turnkey segment, so that we the vision that we have for the company in the years to come is realized. Thank you.
Thank you very much, members of management. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Batliwala and Karani Securities India Private Limited, that concludes today's conference call. Thank you all for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.
Thank you.